Some romances burn bright and brief, leaving an indelible mark on the lives of those involved and the world watching from the outside. Few Hollywood stories fit that description as perfectly as Billy Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie. Their whirlwind marriage captivated the world at the turn of the millennium, not because it was scandalous, but because it was human, unpredictable, and intensely real. Over 20 years later, Thornton's candid reflections reveal a truth far removed from the tabloid hysteria. Their love was never about vampires, blood necklaces, or media spectacle. It was about two people who collided in a storm of passion, intensity, and eccentricity, and ultimately discovered that sometimes love isn't enough when lifestyles diverge. It was 1999 when their worlds first intersected on the set of Pushing Tin. Thornton, an established actor with a quiet, magnetic presence, had already carved a niche in Hollywood. Jolie, young, daring, and fiercely independent, was climbing rapidly towards superstardom. From their first meetings, there wasn't instant fireworks, but there was something deeper, a mutual recognition of intensity, creativity, and individuality. Those who observed them closely described their connection as magnetic and almost electric. They didn't just flirt with one another, they seemed to recognize a kindred spirit. For Thornton, this was a meeting with someone who challenged his view of the world. For Jolie, it was a connection with someone who balanced audacity with grounded insight. It was rare, and it would only intensify. Within a year, they eloped in Las Vegas. A spontaneous, impulsive, and undeniably bold move. It set the tone for a marriage that would be equally intense, eccentric, and fascinating. It wasn't conventional, and it wasn't meant to be. It was Thornton and Jolie on their terms. Almost immediately, the media had a field day. Headlines screamed about blood necklaces and Gothic rituals, painting a portrait of Thornton and Jolie as eccentric, almost otherworldly figures. But the truth was far simpler and far sweeter. The necklaces weren't some theatrical horror show prop. They were tiny lockets, each containing a single drop of each other's blood. It was an intimate gesture, a quiet way to carry a piece of each other when their lives became hectic. Odd? Certainly. But sentimental and human? Absolutely. It was the first glimpse into what made their connection both unusual and authentic. They embraced quirks, celebrated eccentricities, and let love unfold in its own unconventional way. Thornton reflects on this with humor and warmth. It was our thing, he says. We didn't care if anyone else thought it was weird. And therein lies the charm of their romance. They didn't live for the public's approval, they lived for each other. Thornton has called this period one of the greatest times of my life, and it's easy to see why. Their marriage was a delicate balance of intensity and intimacy, passion and playfulness. They shared quiet evenings, adventures in public life, and private rituals that no one else understood. Despite the external chaos of fame and media attention, they were partners navigating a shared journey. Thornton remembers the laughter, the whispered conversations, and the simple moments of connection that made life rich and memorable. But intensity has its limits. Even the strongest love can struggle against the pull of two vastly different worlds. By 2003, after 3 years of marriage, Thornton and Jolie came to a difficult realization. Their paths were diverging. Thornton preferred a quieter, more home-centered existence. Jolie thrived in a global, ever-moving lifestyle, traveling for work, humanitarian projects, and personal growth. Thornton describes it as an agoraphobic lifestyle versus a global one. No betrayal, no scandal, just the reality that two people with love in their hearts can still want fundamentally different lives. For many, this is a revelation. Sometimes, relationships end not because of betrayal, but because of timing, priorities, and personal growth. Even in their separation, they remained close friends. Thornton's honesty about his insecurities and limitations shows a rare humility, one that humanizes both him and the relationship. Their story wasn't about villainizing each other, it was about acknowledging that love can exist alongside divergence. Following the split, Thornton gradually rebuilt a life rooted in stability, family, and creative expression. He eventually married Connie Angland, his sixth wife, with whom he has shared over 20 years of partnership. Together, they raised their daughter Bella, while Thornton also remained devoted to his three other children from previous relationships. Professionally, Thornton continued to thrive, choosing projects that resonated with him artistically. From iconic films like Sling Blade and Monsters Ball to more offbeat indie roles, he proved he wasn't defined by tabloid headlines. Music, writing, and other creative outlets allowed him to explore new dimensions of storytelling, adding depth to a life that was finally grounded yet still dynamic. He has since embraced a reflective, intentional approach to fame, balancing public attention with private life, humor, and authenticity. Thornton's evolution highlights an important truth. Personal growth often comes from quiet reflection, creative fulfillment, and nurturing meaningful relationships. While Thornton found stability, Jolie transformed heartbreak into extraordinary momentum. By 2003, she was stepping fully into her own as an actor, activist, and global influencer. Roles in Girl, Interrupted earned critical acclaim, while blockbusters like Tomb Raider solidified her star power. But her evolution wasn't limited to acting. Jolie immersed herself in humanitarian work, advocating for refugees and displaced families, eventually becoming a special envoy for the UNHCR. Her commitment wasn't performative, it was purposeful, reflecting an intention to use personal experience and public attention for positive impact. Simultaneously, Jolie built a family with Brad Pitt, creating a blended family of 6 children. Her life post-Thornton was a lesson in resilience. Heartbreak became fuel for growth, ambition, and meaningful contribution. She demonstrated that thriving after loss is not only possible, it can be transformative. What makes the Thornton-Jolie romance compelling is not just passion or eccentricity, it's the raw authenticity behind it. Despite public scrutiny, they lived fully, intensely, and without apology. Their love story reminds us that intensity and impermanence can coexist beautifully. Their story also raises curiosity gaps that keep audiences engaged. How did they maintain intimacy amidst media chaos? Were their quirks truly bizarre or deeply human gestures? How did each of them evolve after parting ways? Each of these questions is answered not through scandal, but through reflection, growth, and honest human experience. The Thornton-Jolie story offers universal takeaways. 1. Love isn't always permanent, but it can be meaningful. 2. 3. Eccentricities and quirks are part of being human and part of connection. 1. 2. Breakups don't always mean failure. They can be opportunities for growth. 3. 4. Personal evolution continues beyond relationships. 5. These lessons resonate beyond celebrity culture, reminding audiences that connection, authenticity, and self-awareness are what truly define meaningful relationships. 2 decades on, Thornton embodies stability, creativity, and grounded living. His marriage to Connie Angland, his role as a father to 4 children, and his ongoing artistic pursuits illustrate that life after high-profile love can be fulfilling, complex, and rich. Thornton's post-divorce evolution is a testament to deliberate living, selecting projects that inspire, nurturing meaningful relationships, and embracing private joys over public spectacle. Fans see the actor, but those closest to him witness a deeply reflective, warm, and loyal man. At 50, Jolie is a figure of empowerment, blending motherhood, humanitarian work, and selective creative endeavors. She has embraced aging with gratitude, balancing fame with intentional living, and transforming her influence into actionable change. Her personal narrative shows that thriving after heartbreak involves ownership, resilience, and deliberate growth. Through family, activism, and creative projects, Jolie has demonstrated that life can flourish on your terms, even after high-profile endings. Thornton and Jolie's romance wasn't about gothic rituals or media spectacle. It was about connection, intensity, and growth. It's a story that resonates because it shows love can be passionate and fleeting. Eccentricities make relationships authentic. Heartbreak can be transformative, fueling growth purpose, and fulfillment. Their story is a reminder that the depth of connection, not its duration, defines its meaning. And in the realm of celebrity, that's a rare and enduring truth. Billy Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie shared a chapter that burned brightly, intensely, and memorably. It lasted 3 years, but its lessons and impact echo decades later. Thornton's life today is calm, creative, and deeply grounded. Jolie's path is extraordinary, defined by purpose, family, and global influence. And yet, both carry the imprint of their shared past, a love that was messy, human, and unforgettable. Their story reminds us that some of life's most remarkable connections aren't measured by time, but by the depth, growth, and authenticity they inspire. In a world obsessed with scandal and permanence, this romance shows that love can be fleeting, unconventional, and still life-changing. And that perhaps is what makes it one of Hollywood's most unforgettable love stories.